Hey folks, how's it going? Blimey, there's loads of people here. Welcome. Hello everyone. Hey Jeffrey, Lisa and MHL. Good to see you all. You're early, that's new. Yeah, everyone's early. Well, I suppose you're early in relation to the fact that I'm a little bit late. I do apologise. That Discord is having some issues for me. I'm just kind of giving up on it. Enter credit card details to find out if you've won a free emote. You got all the lyrics to Baladam. That's how Baladam emotes. That's what you could actually have yourself a Baladam emote, couldn't you? Just save yourself some copy pasting and just have that. Boa Banton. Who was your favourite earth bending wrestler from the underground earth bending tournament in the last Airbender? So not Central Sea Baladam. Okay. More of the original dancehall. I like the Boulder and Hippo. I'm not aware of much of the last Airbender. I'd like to know more of it. It screams it 16 times at the start of the song. So I have to. There's the lyrics. Let's get a bit of music in the background. It's a bit silent in my ears. Hello, Michelle. Let's find some music. Boa Banton. I'm not sure he'll get me flagged. We'll try some lo-fi rock. See how that goes. It's dancehall. Yeah, I wonder if I can find some dancehall station. Here's my new demo for my project. Ooh. I don't think I have actually. Oh, you sent me that, didn't you? I would play it, but so my Discord is not connecting. It's with a vocalist. Oh, nice. Alright, so unorganized with all this stuff. Let's get my dashboard open over here. Demo is just me. He hasn't recorded his part yet. Okie dokie. Yeah, glad to hear it's not just me that's having issues with Discord, because that's part of the reason why I'm late. I go, hang on a minute, why can't I get this connecting? And because Discord is not connecting, the Mix It Up bot is having problems. Because it goes, hang on, I can't connect to Discord. It's closing these things. But how badass your beard makes you look, you're very calming. Oh, thank you, Michelle. It's yeah, it's one of those things. People look at me and expect like a big kind of scary Harley Davidson riding biker type dude. But then, no, complete opposite. But yeah, it's kind of shows looks can be deceiving. But you tend to find people with big badass beards have a tendency to be a bit more chill. You have to be kind of patient and chill, I suppose, for the beard growing process. Okay, let's turn it down in my ear a little bit. Yeah. Alright, switch over to the main screen. Now, where we were last week with this, I was seriously contemplating rebuilding the whole thing. We don't know what I've done to screw this up. It is not consistent in what happens when it crashes. Let's just get the code open. Because I can like comment out a lot of the code so it doesn't run, and it will run fine, and then I bring it back and it runs fine, and I run it again, it doesn't run, take stuff out and it still doesn't run. So I don't know. Artists are the most badass in my opinion. It takes so much patience and dedication. Oh yeah, anyone can sit there and dedicate time to creating art through all the kind of so many people want to shortcut this kind of stuff, but it takes time and focus. Now we can do that and then put that art out into the world. Now I want to be able to do some more painting at some stage. It's been a while, but I bought myself some paints and I got some like a big like artist pad and stuff, and I did like small little paintings and I enjoy doing it. But it's one of those things you say you have to dedicate like at least an hour to work on something, because setting it all up, getting your color palette, and sort of taking the time to create the image, then clean up after yourself afterwards as well. It's a lot of time to do that with physical paints, and then doing something digitally. Obviously, I haven't got the cleanup, but you still have to set that time aside to go, okay, I'm gonna get the stroke. With digital painting, you've got the other things where you can step back and go backwards and forwards, and making sure the stroke of the tool is exactly what you're after, and you're getting the kind of right look on it. Yeah, and knowing that, trusting the process will get there eventually, but you can't see the results straight away. It's not very rewarding in the moment. Painting so cool, very hard for me. It was like 10 times impressive. Yeah, indeed. One of my friends hand-held me through 2 watercolor paintings, and I'm pretty proud of them. Oh, nice. Let's see your paintings if you're okay with that. Yeah, I got them somewhere. I might have to. When I dig them out, I think it's over in the corner. Oh, bless me. I'll go and grab my paint pad. 2 seconds. There's nothing major. It's little bits of paint. It's fine. This is my sketch pad slash paint pad. Oh, that's a shame. Colours run through here. Most of this is drawing. Let's put it back onto full screen. There it is. We'll do some colour testing on another page. It's blended through a little bit, but painted these by hand. Ooh, another good bit of drawing. Yeah, I'm gonna probably scan some of my drawings as well. But annoyingly, these colour blotches bled through from the other page. Yeah, that one's a little bit dodgy there. I didn't quite get the face right on that one. But I'm quite proud of the other two. Nice, yeah. Yeah, because I just basically went straight ahead, didn't bother sketching anything, just sort of put paint onto paper. Do I actually have any sketches in here? Don't know many Pokemon by name, so you got one at the top here. Oops, hit the microphone. One at the top here is Ghastly. So he's a gas ghost Pokemon. We've got Coffin. So he's like a poison. And then we've got Haunter, another ghost. But as I had the purple paint on my palette, I thought, you know, let's make a few purple Pokemon. But I was intending to paint a few more. Because I thought if I'm going to learn to paint and go through the process of painting, I'll paint something I know. Do I have many? A lot of these are too light to show up on the camera, I think. As the first drawing I put in this pad, the panda. One of my friends is super into Pokemon, and I made up a Pokemon and talked through it with him. Oh, nice. Yeah, so you think considering anything can be a Pokemon, that the rules have been very lax with what Pokemon can be. Panda indeed. Like some of the Pokemon now, you're like an ice cream is a Pokemon. Yeah, most of these aren't really artistic drawings, as they are technical. So I used to make a lot of stage props for like stage production, like shows and stuff. So I'm not sure if that's going to come through very well. But most of these are technical drawings for creating stage props. So it's nothing really artistic, it's more kind of technical. Tree, yes. So I was designing designing a collapsible tree prop. It's very hard to probably see. So the base of the tree is effectively like a pallet, but I made from scratch. So I made all of this, everything I've got here I've made. And then the base of the tree slots into that solid base, and the top of the tree as like a palm tree attachment. Jungle, yeah. And then that's what it would look like on the stage. So that's the stage where people will be standing, and then that's the thing I make and how it would sit. And there's another one over here. So it's kind of just designing how things will look and then building it. It was basically for a Jack in the Beanstalk was it? Oh, it was Peter Pan. It was Peter Pan crossed with Jack and the Beanstalk. So we kind of crossed those two stories. So we had to make a beanstalk and a beach and a pirate ship. Wait, you do stage design like for real shows and stuff? I suppose. Yeah, I haven't done it for a couple of years now because the place where I was doing it has been closed. Yeah, this I was the stage manager and kind of set design. So I used that mainly to kind of draw out what this the sets and the stage would look like, and then individually the pieces I needed to build, such as the tree and the stands. And the stand was a universal stand, so I could attach different things to it. So I think I used the same stand for the tree, and a rock. So attaching a rock to it, so I have a rock on the beach, or you can have like a bit of a shrubbery. And the stand actually had wheels on, so you can kind of move it on and off the stage. The main issue was that we had all these heavy things, and I'm the only person big enough to kind of pick them up and put them on the stage. Which meant I kind of had to do most of the running around. So I designed something that other people could just literally just pull it on and off the stage a lot easier. So it's cool, and it still exists. It's kind of locked in a storage at the moment until we know what we can do again, which is a shame. But that was that production I played Captain Hook. So I was dressed as Captain Hook and I was playing Captain Hook at the same time, moving and organising the stage when the curtains close over to the stage. So it was quite busy, very hectic. Lots of fun though. But looking forward to doing that kind of stuff again soon. But yeah, I'll probably, if I can find the video stuff of the recordings, I'll whack that up somewhere on my YouTube. Even though we only have one instrumental demo and 3 sets of lyrics so far, I of course already made art, CD and shit version. You gotta get these promotional stuff. Same on Facebook, since Discord's not right. Okie dokie. Yeah, the art is important on. If you're looking to push it out and be promoted, you need to have something visual. That's one of the main things that I need to focus on for like game designs. That it's all right saying, "Oh, look, here's my game," but you need something that people can see instantly. Go, okay, here is a screenshot. Here is some cover art. So for Moongate Mage, my main focus is to try and have as much visual stuff I can push out there to represent it. This one I don't mind too much. It's like I can take a screenshot of the game and people can go, well, this is what it is. You can play it or you don't. Whereas Moongate Mage, I need to go full kind of promotional stuff. Music will come fast. You know my worth. Oh yes, Unstoppable Music Machine. I honestly don't know where I'm going to go with this now, to be honest. Sent through Facebook. Okie dokie. Let's have a quick look here on my phone. Oh wow, that's awesome. I'd be very tempted by that shirt, to be honest. Yeah, something like that. There's a markup, not printed yet. First music, of course. Oh yes. Be right back, dog time. Okie dokie. It's so many messages today. There's a lot of heavy politics stuff going on in the UK at the moment. So I've got a lot of friends kind of discussing the chaos. I am pretty happy that this is doing absolutely nothing. Apart from this. Soup. Maybe I need to make a game about soup. And have Lisa jump into it. I reckon on Monday we should finish trying 4. And then be on to trying 5. I don't know if there's any soup in trying 5. Stealth and soup. Be a soup ninja. Tried to steal the soup, yes. Yeah, I would like to make little games like that. Like this was supposed to be a little game when I started it. It was supposed to be like something very, very basic. And to a certain degree, it is. But even the most basic a game benefits from a little bit of polish and all the things you come to expect from a game. Prototyping is fun. Oh yes. Once I've got all these bugs and I can make another demo where people can just play what I have on stream here without it crashing, without any issues, then I'll start prototyping. Let's do random stuff until you find something you love working on and expand it. Oh yeah, I suppose that's good for just kind of finding a project and go, oh, I got loads of different ideas, let's just make some prototypes, and then the one that feels more fun to kind of work with. So I want to do prototyping for Moongate Mage. Let's work on different systems. I've managed to work on a few systems in this that I will probably carry over. And a few systems that I've looked at and go, I could probably rebuild that system better. But at least I've tried to build the system. And I know kind of why it doesn't work and why it does work. I made a game in 1 week and it was nice and relaxing to know that I can't make it too complicated. Really just let me go wild with small ideas. I of course had 1 week version download and post-week fixes and edits. Nice. Now, I've heard things like game jams are good for like focus, because you have your time limit, and however it is at the end of the time limit, that's it, it's done. And if you want to take it further after that, then that's up to you, but it kind of forces you to come up with a finished playable product in that short time. Yeah. I considered actually participating in a game jam, but I need to kind of understand more about this while making here. Once I've gone through the cycle of okay, I've given myself plenty of time to understand the flaws of this game, I now want a challenge to get better at it, and I know game jams would help me get better at something. Like, even if I never submit a game, as long as I stick to that deadline and I don't worry about too much of the detail, I do the polishing games too. It's so fun. Yeah, like, I suppose the idea of like a time limit on the fundamentals of the game is that you force yourself not to worry about those details, and you purposely keep it rough but on track, and then the polish comes afterwards rather than trying to polish during the main development cycle, and then you end up with kind of garbage that doesn't quite work but looks impressive. Right, where are we so far? Okay, it's mostly there. There's the other one. One's there. Yeah, lower. And the other one's that window. Nice. Did I? Oh, I didn't comment that out. Interesting. I swear I commented it out. Maybe I didn't. I'm just going to run through all the levels. Now, the reason I'm doing this manually, because I have a feeling that me using the dev shortcut to completing the levels possibly is what's causing it to crash, and I am in fact chasing a red herring, because it's actually the dev cheat that is crashing it and not the actual game, which does unfortunately mean I have to kind of play the levels to completion. But if I can play the level to completion and it not crash through several testing attempts, compared to it crashing nearly every time when I try to cheat it, then that kind of suggests that me cheating is what's crashing it and not the general mechanic. If you ever need polish help or suggestions, I can definitely help. I'm no professional, but I take it with a spoonful of salt. Cool, thank you for the help. Yeah, I will certainly reach out to people once I've got a few things that need a bit of help with. Like, this entire project here is me learning everything to do with game dev. But when it comes to an actual project, like this game, I pushed out a couple of times now and go, okay, can people play what I have? How does it feel so far? Am I missed anything fundamental? And there's been a few things like like changing the way it sounds and stuff, and the feel of the gameplay. Changes when you kind of add these little things that have mostly been polish. It's just unfortunate more recently I've been getting crashing and stuff actually missing which I swear was not there when I made a demo, but it was there. Like, it was in the demo and it was in my code. Like, so I must have changed something prior to pushing it out and after I did the final test. But I'm going to have to do a lot of testing on this anyway to get the right kind of completion times. So I need to know roughly what a slow time and a fast time would be to complete each level. So I've got like a little log that compares the player's time to my set times, and if the player does faster than that time, they get a gold medal. If they do slower, slightly slower, they get a silver, and if they really don't complete it very fast at all, then they get the bronze. And if they're really slow, they just don't get anything. But I need to know what those times are. So I do need to play it a few times. Like at the moment, 4 minutes 48 seconds on this level so far is a bronze. But that might actually be a good time. Ooh, level 1 is... the feel of it is so much different. So I changed the value on the bar on the left hand side per level to reflect how far away the trebuchet is from the building. So because this is so close, that number is actually smaller compared to the other levels. So the other levels have a more finer control of the power, whereas this one is a bit more chunky, I suppose. So number range is smaller, but you've only got so many squares high that you have to hit here. So the accuracy is not as important. I think that's that first part of the building. Let's get the side piece here. Ooh, gold medal. Just over 2 minutes for that one. Okay, so I played for the entire game. No crashing. Ooh. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save the project again. I'm going to quit the project. Let the hub restart. I want to be able to have a consistency. So if I can play it, test it, no crashes, quit it, open it, play it, test it, no crashes. I can be pretty confident that in its current state, it should be fine. Pop-up. I don't know why it keeps asking me whether I want to load. I have to see if there's a backup area I can just delete the backups. So reopen the project. We'll do another test. At the moment, I have completely removed, well, at least temporarily, I've removed the event calls for the smoke, so it no longer kind of kicks up smoke. I have removed the sound rumble, so it doesn't make a rumbling sound, and what else have I? It doesn't save, so there's no smoke, no sound, doesn't save it. And there's a fourth one it does as well. Let's get on there. Let's kill the unity. Try again. There we go, we've got a progress bar now. Oh, Discord's opened. When did they fix what was going on? Oh, cool. Okay. I shall go for my Discord in a little bit. So we're not changing anything. Still have the same code. We shall now play a game. Right now I'm prototyping a game where you play as an AI that can transfer between bodies. You have to attack and weaken enemies to be able to move between them and get different weapons and movesets. Oh, I like that. So I suppose the key mechanic there is you have like a combat where you're reducing their HP and then transferring the player control between character models. It's FPS based combat, so yes, basically. Cool. That's awesome. I like that idea. It immediately springs to mind when thank you. No problem. Switching control of player characters reminds me of what game was it? There's a driving game where I think you're a ghost and you can just leap into different people's cars effectively and drive them. So you didn't actually have a on-foot character, but you could just jump between cars and just go, oh, I'm driving that one now. And I found that quite an interesting So I've never played it, but I've seen like video clips of it. Oh, I never played this game, but I would have liked to explore that mechanic. Is it Driver? Or was Driver another game? Oh, we missed this entire section here. We've still got my door, 2 minutes 25. But then so I suspect for that kind of mechanic where you're hopping between player models, your actual player control has to be kind of modular, I suppose, and you just kind of attach it to different models, as opposed to the model being kind of built into the player control system. But I suppose that's a good exercise as well, of being able to just have a player controller system that is so universal you can just apply it to any character model you want to, without really being too specific. Which is the ideal, I suppose. You can just use the same player controller system for anything. Yeah, the actual player is just an empty with a camera, and the movement, speed, jump, height and everything is based off a separate script that defines a body. Nice. Of course, the gun is defined by its own script reference through the body. Makes sense. But yeah, that is a good exercise in making sure stuff is modular. When I first started writing this, I kind of knew basically nothing. I did 1 or 2 quick Unity tutorials about how to use the engine and some of the stuff that the engine can do. So when I started this initially, it was so everything was so tied together, until I learned over time that everything needs to be managed in its own kind of bubble. And I eventually reworked elements of this so it could be added and removed at will without affecting anything. So I did have to do a little bit of work to unhook everything so it becomes yeah, completely modular, independent. Spaghetti, yes, so much spaghetti. And that's kind of where the event calls and listens come from, because I'm used to writing front end, like database desktop systems for day-to-day kind of work, and spaghetti can still happen in those instances, but it doesn't affect it as much, because you could tie a button to a particular process, and then that process is tied to that particular UI, and that UI has to be there for this to happen, because it's very linear. A lot of kind of desktop applications are quite linear in their kind of their process. They're sort of start to finish. You start here, you end there. But there is quite a few instances where you can have 2 finish points that come from one starting point, and you might actually converge back to a very similar finish point by two different routes. Like you might start off with the same part of the UI, you then diverge off to something a little bit more specific, but then converge back into the same process at the end with a slightly tweaked or modified experience based on how you got there. And again, it's linear with like a diversion path in there. But game design is so kind of... It needs to be able to branch out in different directions. And several directions at the same time, in fact. That is quite an eye-opening experience for someone like me to go from writing applications to making kind of an asymmetric, asynchronous, should I say, asynchronous structure of these things all running in parallel and can be kind of intervened and changed on the fly. And that effectively is how most kind of experiences work with modern games. Older games, where it's turn-based or waiting on your decision, you kind of run the calculations as you make decisions. Far easier. Old point-and clicks weren't very asynchronous, because your character wouldn't do anything. There's no kind of enemies doing anything specific that would change. You just have a person waiting there for you to interact with them. There might be some timed events like this. An NPC might walk over here, say something, walk back again. But even that could be on a set loop. Yeah, my early days of coding was so much spaghetti because it's one of those things where it works. Why do you need to worry? But then you realise when you go to change anything or add something that it becomes so much more difficult to understand why something is doing the way it's doing it, or trying to expand it becomes impossible, because to expand it you need to kind of break out everything and almost rewrite it. But these days I do tend to write software in the view that it could expand outward in the future. Make it scalable, as the more kind of corporate speak. Back, welcome back, Jeffrey. Evening, buddy. Thanks for the chat yesterday. Hey, Max, how's it going, dude? Good to see you. It was a good chat. I'm guilty of not taking 5 minutes just to chat. The most time I chat to anyone is when I'm streaming. Other than that, I'm not really chatting. I'm not engaging. I'm doing other stuff. I'm usually running around, and I'm not taking just a simple 5 minutes just to kind of be sociable. Introvert mindset, exactly. That's me in a nutshell. And to be quite honest, I'm quite happy in that nutshell. It's nice and quiet. Try Discord again, still down. My Discord's opened. Like I had Discord open and it just had the little swirly thing and doing all this, and it's been like that the entire stream until about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and it just went pop and I've got Discord again. But so maybe it's it's obviously still having problems, but maybe some connections going through, some aren't. Right, we successfully played 3 levels without crashing. Now, for peace of mind, I'm going to save the project again. I'm going to close the project. I'm going to reopen the project, and we'll do this once more. And I know, in its current state, with certain things turned off, it works. Yeah, I'm very much an introvert, MHL. My energy comes from peacefulness, quietness, kind of. So I kind of recharge by solitude. Same. Yeah, I think you find a lot of developers tend to be a little bit like that. Not all, but at the same time, like, people tend to code better in the evening, at night time, when it's quieter and there's not people constantly messaging you and stuff. You just kind of like zone in. But some days at work, when I'm sat at my desk and I'm getting questions every 5-10 minutes, not a single line of code gets written. Must be Discord on PC, that's down. Mobile Discord working. Ah, cool. Yeah, I think it depends on the API. I think that's trying to connect to Discord. Maybe the mobile API is probably better. I suppose it's not pulling so much data. You like the art from a new project? Yes. I say if you produce those kind of T-shirts, I'll be considering adding that to my collection. Ooh, it's warm. I've switched my fan on. I have to rearrange my thumb with my phone. It doesn't understand my thumb half the time. Fan. Cool, we have a fan. Let's just knock that down a little. Cool. We'll be with a vocalist 2 towns over. He has a metal band that's on the other side, on the softer side of what can still be called metal, almost rock, and he wants heavier. I make extreme metal and want to make a bit more traditional for once with a clean vocal. So mine softer, his heavier line has the same thing. So we started it. Nice. Yeah, it's good to find that kind of shared goal. Nice back. Welcome back, Lisa. Look at those awesome emotes. Watching ATLA. Alpha. And drinking tea. Tea's good. I might make some tea in a little bit. Do all the instruments. You're very good with your general kind of music production and your what do they call it? No, I've forgotten the term. Composing. That's the word. Digital composer. Alright, we reloaded the project. We're going to do this once more. We'll play through all 3 levels. I've got a hunch as to if I can narrow down at least a little as to where it's crashing. I've got a hunch to what could make it better if it is the event calls. But what threw me last week is that even without the event calls, it was crashing. So that was quite worrying, that even without event calls. But at the moment, with just the event calls missing, it's running. But I have taken out more to do the event calls, because I was clearing the calls and then adding them back again. And all I did was remove the adding them back part, but maybe even the clearing them caused it to crash, which is not something I've really tested. So when it starts a new level, it clears all the calls and then adds in a list of calls. You go, okay, we're adding the following things, but maybe that entire process is what yeah, it doesn't like. And that's the only thing really is a kind of a structure that's new. That's my unspaghettification by turning a lot of processes to an event call rather than a Boolean check. So the Boolean checks, as I say before, were unpredictable because it'd just be whenever it finds the Boolean, as opposed to the moment it changes. At least with the event call, I know certain things will happen in a certain order from the moment they happen. Oh, a little bit lower. Got it. Okay, level 1. And I say as well, my dev cheat system could have easily been part of the problem, which is why I'm playing the levels properly as a player would. Good. Unfortunately, there is no real proper substitute for just playing the game through, as far as testing is concerned. I know dev cheats are generally how certain elements get tested individually, but I think the way I've built this doesn't really lend very safely to that. Well, at least it seems. It's probably suggesting me that I need to rebuild the system slightly better. But it's one of those things that it works, and it only affects me as a dev, not as a player, at the moment. Then we'll leave it. If you're, I suppose, if you're a streamer, which I think there's only 3 of us chatting, there are streamers. The Mix It Up bot, which is what I use, and I know Jeffrey uses, but they've done a lot of rebuilding of the code in the Mix It Up bot. Yes, yeah, I'm in the Discord for Mix It Up, and they've rebuilt a lot of stuff. Lisa as well, awesome. Yeah, so that they've rebuilt the bot a little bit, because they were thinking of shutting it down, like stopping the project and go, well, how it is right now is how it will always be, and we're not going to support it anymore. But after a big public kind of support for them, they decided, actually, no, we can do this, and they've set up a Patreon, and they've reworked a lot of the code, and they have 5 people now working on it, which is amazing to think they have less than 5 people working on the bot, considering how cool it is. Most of the code was written by one person to mix it up. But they've gone back through and go, there's a bit of messy bits here and there, and they've improved it, and then actually adding more stuff to it now. So I've joined their Patreon. I'm going to give them a little bit of money each month because, to be honest, it's an awesome bot. It's the coolest kind of streaming bot I've come across, and I've used quite a few over the years. A lot of them have had similar kind of functions and feels to Mix It Up, but Mix It Up just brings it all together. I agree, it's great. Yeah. Can't even remember the names of the other ones. They've all kind of died, that's the thing. And they were single platform bots as well, a lot of the bots I used to have. I want to say Firebot? Firebot was one at one stage, and that was close to Mix It Up bot. But I enjoyed using Firebot because it did all the same sort of stuff, but it was a single platform bot. Then Mix It Up bot comes along, does everything Firebot did, plus more, and it's multi-platform. I don't even know if Firebot still exists. What's the other one? It was quite a sad day when there was one main bot a few people used. And it had to be shut down. But the developer actually said that if you, because it was like on the line, it was like an online bot. But if you sent a message to the developer with your username, you could actually get all of your commands and everything sent to you. It would just kind of put it into like a little database and just send you everything you had in the bot before you shut it down. So I still have that database somewhere. Probably not as useful now, but it's very nice of him to do that. I go, well, apologies, I can't keep this thing running anymore, but if you want all your data from the bot, let me know and I'll send it to you. But it was a shame. A lot of these projects are done through pure kindness of community and kind of casual devs and stuff. I've never financially supported a bot until I signed up to the Patreon for Mix It Up. They don't offer a lot for signing up to the Patreon, but you know that I've been using this bot for years now. I feel it's kind of, it's deserved. I suppose now they've got more devs and they got like a money stream. I feel a bit more comfortable saying, can you add this feature? Rather than one stressed person going, yes, I'll add it to the list. Maybe you'll get it in 12 months. So I would like to see or have them add at some stage for it, Mix It Up unless it might already be there still somewhere, but the means to kind of ignore certain user profiles in the bot, mainly like other bots. Like if I could ignore Restream bots in the Mix It Up bot, because I don't need Mix It Up to be aware of or react to Restream bots, because anything anyone says on YouTube or on Twitch comes through directly. But then I see Restream bots repost of everyone's post, So I actually see chat twice, which isn't great. If I could just hide all the bots. But I should probably do some more investigation soon. It's not really bothering me too much right now. Nice silver medal. Right, we've played through all 3 levels 3 times over, quitting and reopening the project each time. I can confidently say there is no code that is currently active that is preventing it from working without crashes. Now the question is any of this here, is this our problem? So my potential hunch is that this is one event. So we have one event here called on level complete. And when the level is completed, it calls that event, and then all of these listeners trigger off. Now, I feel that should be fine. What might be the issue is that it can't handle this many events kind of running. This many calls listening. There's listener calls happening at the same time. So maybe I make a different event for everything. Now I feel that's probably like a waste, and it shouldn't be needed. But maybe it helps me test it if I make a smoke holder trigger event and a sound effect trigger event and a castle wing. Although castle wing doesn't need to be fired off by the looks of it, because is it because I have made no, because it's hitting it. Maybe I didn't even need that process, because I added that to stop it from crashing. But maybe it isn't actually crashing. Anyway, yeah, maybe I make multiple events and I test them individually. So we have smoke holder. So we want to smoke. So public Unity event. Guess who's late? Late again. Hey bot, how's it going? Bot is late again. Good to see you, hope you're well. Hope the internet is behaving for you today. I'd say we made some kind of progress. We discovered what it isn't. Sound effects. Update level progress. Full update progress. Behaving like usual. Yes, it is watching a pixelated 360p mess, but I'm doing quite well. And what's that? What kind of progress? So, I have basically commented out this entire function here, this entire method, where it handles the level complete events. So all the things that need to happen when the level completes, such as show some smoke, play sound effects, save the level. So I've removed this entire section because this is one of the more recent sections I wrote. So I've commented out, and previously I've only commented out part of this section when I've tested it, and I've had mixed results with the engine crashing stuff. But I've commented out the entire section and I can't get it to crash. I've quit the project, I've opened it multiple times, played it multiple times. I can't make it crash with this code commented out. Green comments, indeed. So if I can't make it crash with this code commented. Now I've not tested using my dev cheat. You would think green means good. Yeah. The green comments. It can be good. It can be a nice friendly message. Going, hey, this is a cool bit of code. Check it out. But in this case, it is a problematic bit of code. Let's just leave it where it is. In my experience, I would just rewrite the whole function. Yeah. So, because this entire section here is kind of me rewriting it anyway. My experience is bad experience. Yeah. So this is the first time I've tried to use kind of events, like Unity event and listeners. I don't tend to use C# events and listeners because I was explaining earlier, most of what I do day to day with desktop applications is very linear. And typically you go from one like to A to B to C to D. You don't typically need to call something asynchronously in a desktop application. So I don't tend to use it. Whereas even though this isn't asynchronously, isn't working asynchronously, I'm still trying to sort of detach it a little bit. But something's, maybe it's my understanding of how the process works or the way I've done it. It's not happy with this. I understand going from that to having to deal with this much dynamic content could be quite difficult. Yeah. Most of my experience has been creating desktop applications. So this project here that I've been working on for so long is not only understanding game dev and the engine, but sort of like switching my mindset from things don't all happen in a linear sort of A to Z setup. They could happen in any order. And multiple things can go in multiple different directions and call different things from different places. So yeah, so I'm trying to unlearn that, and it's improved my kind of coding of desktop applications, because I'm starting to write desktop applications in a more modular process. Like I can remove a part of a desktop application now without it affecting anything, which is surely would be far better kind of code practice, that you're not reliant on something existing for everything else to run, rather than just putting a blanket try catch on everything. It's a nice get out putting a try catch, but it's doesn't really solve anything. It just stops it. Getting more venom things to smell. Nice. Right, I'm going to uncomment this section because I don't think this should have an issue. This is literally just gathering objects and saving them. That's all it's doing. Quick question, could you explain what is supposed to happen code-wise? 3 shirts, 1 is for Lisa though, I think she needs venom as well. 2 CDs, I've only had them on LPC so far. Nice. So, this particular section of code that we're looking at here. So, what this is doing, so what I've just uncommented at the top here, I have a series of objects. So the first series is smoke holders. So again, I've not made the assumption, but each level can have a number of particle generators sat in front of the building. And that particle generator makes a smoke effect. Now I've left it, the way I've written it is that there could be 0, there could be 10 of these objects. So I've got it here where I just go, well, find objects with that tag and just save it into smoke holders. So they're just particle emitters saved into an array of objects. Same goes for the sound effect. Again, there should only be one sound effect controller. So this is a little bit, it's not very useful in that, but I'm following a pattern here, so that's what I've done. Castle wings, which I feel probably doesn't need to be used anymore, but certain objects surrounding the castle that could affect the process that I'm working with here. I want to be able to disable the collider on any of the objects surrounding the castle in case that's going to cause issues. So anything that I want to disable the collider on, I've tagged with a castle wing, so the wings of the castle. So it goes, finds all the objects and puts those into the array. And the game progress manager, it will find all the game progress manager objects. Again, there should only be one of those, so there should only be one sound effect object and one game progress manager object. So that just basically gathers all the objects that I want to play with at the end of the level. So that's what we're doing there. Next line of code here is where the events come in. So I've got one event currently which I've called on level complete. So the first thing I do is remove any listeners currently assigned to that. And then I go through a series of loops to add those listeners back in. I've got to tell you that on Lisa's phone, Twitch chat doesn't work no more. She can't talk. Oh no! Don't question. If none are found, does it return empty array or null? So I think it's an empty array. I think you can probably do a null check on it. Besides the Venom stuff, also Cannibal Corpse CD I didn't have yet, and we'll be getting free Lorna Shore shirt. Site had a deal if you ordered, you get free Lorna Shore. Oh, I think you mentioned that. That's a pretty cool deal. Yeah, so what I've done, bought I got a series of 4 loops. So I got a 4 loop for each array. So the theory being that it should, if there's nothing in the array, the 4 loops should just fall through. Right? So for I is 0 to length of the array, if the length of the array is already 0, the for loop should pass through. I should, for peace of mind, I probably should do like a check to confirm what you're saying there. If there is nothing in these arrays, it should bypass this whole process just to be on the safe side. Or the very least kind of post to console to say how many objects it found. So I could do that here before reactivating this code, just to let's do a quick check. And I could even just yeah, kind of temporarily remove something and see how it behaves. It'd be a good kind of error checking. But yeah. May console log those. Yeah, let's console log those. So before we move on, just want to see what we return. So was it debug.log in this particular instance? Console log is C#, but Unity's debug.log. We'll leave that comment in there. Yeah, that'll do. Debug.log. Okay, yeah. So bounds, castle wings, smoke holders length, sound effects. Cool. Okay, we'll go with that. Wow, YouTube let me comment a period. Yeah. It must have been looking the other direction when you type that. Right, we're going to run it again. Oh, a good debug.log is always nice. Yes. Yeah, this is definitely a friend of the developer. Right, so actually we don't particularly. Yeah, I'll leave that there. It gives me an idea. But I feel this is where the errors are happening. So right, we're going to save that there. There's probably some log lines that I want to remove now, because, well, although saying that, I feel there's probably some efficiencies. There you go. So the level starts up. It says on level complete events, or setting up on level complete events, found 0 castle wings, 1 smoke holder, and 1 sound effects object. You should test that line with at least one level that doesn't have one of them. Yeah. So this level 1 does not have a castle wing. So to check, it returns null or empty. I meant to say, if anyone would like to help me with some Blender art, the help would be greatly appreciated. What are you trying to do, MHL? And my knowledge on Blender is very obvious from my streams. It's not fantastic. Yeah, it seems to array.length returns 0. if it is empty. So that's a very good check. But then the for loop will fall through if the length is 0. Just environments characters. Okay. Quite busy, but mind doing some Blender because need some practice. Oh, that's very kind of you. What? Yeah, so if it returns 0, it means it's an array. Yeah. So array dot length is 0 if there's no objects. So it's returning 0 happily for castle wings. There's nothing in this level that I've labelled as a wing. So for peace of mind, I'm going to play the level, I'm going to complete it. So it's happily calling events here, so we have an on hit event whenever it hits the building here. So I'm successfully running the event, but this is a one-to-one. It's a one a call, one function kind of thing. It's not. I'm not adding multiple listeners to one event. So maybe that's where I'm going wrong. I'm assuming you can add multiple listeners to one event. But again, my knowledge of event listeners is very limited. So that's not a source of error. What is exactly? What is it? But it's good to check these things. I didn't even consider that, but I didn't even consider that. Maybe it is erroring because it can't find something. But I do recall, yeah, the generally for loops, at least in C#, will fall right through if it's there's nothing to actually loop. I think for loops, so there isn't such a. Is there such a thing as a while loop in C#? There's a while loop in Visual Basic. I don't think there's a while loop in C#. So I think the for loop in C# kind of works like a while loop. Wait, when the level is complete, you add event listeners to the objects. So the event listeners get added at the start of the level, and when the level is complete, it calls the event and those listeners are triggered. Danger, while loops in King of is bad. Yeah. I don't think there's a while loop in C#. But I think the way C# works is a for loop kind of works like a while loop, but with a definitive end. But typical while loops otherwise don't have a definitive end to them. To my knowledge, the event listener will trigger a function when the event fires from anywhere. Yeah. So yeah, I'm adding the listeners at the start of the level, and then when these two numbers at the top here match, so when this 118 equals 120, it'll then fire the event to say we've completed the level. Or it's not equal, if 118 is equal to or greater than 120, fire the event. So I'm not sure I understand what you mean, trigger the event listener. Well, I suppose well, it's probably my bad terminology. So you add listeners to the event, don't you? And then you basically trigger the event, and then everything that was listening to it just triggers. Because it's kind of like a chain reaction. If that's my understanding of it. Yeah, so this one's found 2 castle wings, 1 smoke holder, 1 sound effect. Oh yes, makes more sense, yeah. Yeah, so I have several listeners to the one event, so yeah, there were 2 of my fave, the one that you can't say. Yeah, so I got multiple things tied to the on level complete event. Now, I'm assuming that is fine. You can have multiple listeners added to the one event. What is the use of the for loops? So, say for instance, I just want to make sure I'm understanding exactly what you're doing. So, there could be multiple things in the arrays. So the array can have, for instance, this level has 2 wings. It has this hedge here as a wing, that hedge there is a wing. And I want to add both of those together to the event. So I have an array that contains both of those hedges. I loop through the array, adding the function in the hedge that turns off the collider. So I've got a function on these hedges that turns off the collider. So I'm looping the array of the hedges to then turn off the collider when I complete the level, for instance. So there could be 2 hedges, 3 hedges, 4 hedges in one array. I want to loop through the array, add the collider removal to the call. So all of them kind of get their colliders removed at the same time. Those functions run when. So the functions, because I've added them to the listener, the idea being is when the on level complete event is called, it will then run the functions to disable their colliders. So what I want is when the level completes, I want to run the function on this one, run the function on that one. I want to run the function on the particle emitter that sits here, and I want to run the function that plays the sound. So I have a series of functions on different objects, and some objects are grouped into the arrays because I've looked for all the hedges in one go, all the particle emitters in one go. I'm just looping through the array of particle emitters, the array of hedges, and adding each of them to the same event. Like if there's only one hedge, one particle emitter, there is only one sound effect, so I don't really need to loop that. And it was a little bit tricky because the for loop a for loop inside of an event listener add is self-contained. So I think the for loop happens on the call, or the reference is. It's a weird thing with that to do with the array reference within a call. But I think that you add the listeners at the start of the level, so whenever you fire on a level complete event, they know what to do already. Yes. Yeah, so when the level starts, this code here runs at the level start. So I go through, find all the objects, and then I assign them. I assign the listeners to them, and then when you call this event, all of this kind of fires off. Well, maybe the error isn't in this code. But the functions that the listeners run instead? Maybe? But I've not changed these functions. I've only literally moved them to the process of event listener. But it'd be worth calling the events, or calling everything, but without the actual content of the functions, to see if it will go through the process of adding the listener and calling it. Without actually having anything happen inside them. So that'll probably be the next stage. So actually comment out the individual functions. So outwardly nothing changes, but I've actually moved on a step. Is that how you would define the lambda function? Yes. So that's the lambda. Not sure how easy that is to see on stream. But so it's bracket, open bracket, close bracket, equals chevron. And then because it's an array, it'd be the array name for the index. Then dot get component. So I get the component from the object, and then the actual function at the end there is start smoke. So grabbing the array with the index, getting the component of the object in the array, then the function, and the lambda expression is bracket bracket equals chevron.